Commander Jake Morrison walked through the metal halls of Kepler Station. His boots made soft sounds on the floor. The station was huge, bigger than any human building. It floated in space between 3 star systems. This was where all the alien races met to talk about important things. Jake was not alone. Dr. Lisa Warren walked beside him. She was a smart woman who studied alien life forms. Behind them came Captain Ryan Blake. He was in charge of keeping the humans safe. Ryan had 10 soldiers with him, but they looked very small compared to the aliens around them. The 3 humans were the only ones from Earth at this big meeting. Every year, all the important alien races came here. They made decisions about who could live where in the galaxy. They decided which planets belonged to which race. Humans had been coming to these meetings for 30 years, but nobody really listened to them. Jake looked around at the other beings in the station. The Thrakari were big lizard-like creatures. They walked on 2 legs and had sharp teeth. Their skin was dark green and covered in hard scales. They were very proud and thought they were better than everyone else. The Thrakari Empire controlled many star systems. They had been flying between stars for thousands of years. The Zephyrians looked like giant insects. They had 6 arms and big black eyes. They never traveled alone. Wherever you saw one Zephyrian, there were always more nearby. They all shared the same thoughts, somehow. The Zephyrian hive controlled entire sectors of space. Their ships looked like huge metal bugs. The strangest aliens were the Luminary. They were made of pure energy. They looked like floating balls of light that could change shape. Sometimes they looked almost human, but they were never solid. The Luminary were very old and very powerful. They could do things with energy that other races could not understand. All these aliens had one thing in common. They did not think much of humans. Jake remembered his first meeting here 10 years ago. The alien leaders had barely looked at him. They talked about humans like they were children who had just learned to walk. The Thrakari general had laughed when Jake tried to speak. The Zephyrian queen had ignored him completely. The Luminary representative had simply floated away. Things had not gotten much better since then. Dr. Warren touched Jake's arm. "Look at them," she said quietly. "They still think we're primitive." She was right. Jake could see it in how the aliens moved around them. The Thrakari soldiers pushed past the humans like they were not there. The Zephyrians made clicking sounds that Jake knew meant they were talking about something funny. The Luminary just floated above everything, like they were too important to notice anyone else. The main meeting room was enormous. It had seats for hundreds of beings. The ceiling was so high that Jake could barely see it. In the center was a big round table where the most important leaders sat. Humans had a small chair at the very edge. It was the smallest seat in the room. Jake sat down in the human chair. Lisa and Ryan stood behind him. Across the table, General Vextar of the Thrakari Empire was talking to other military leaders. Vextar was huge, even for a Thrakari. His scales were darker than most, and he had many scars from old battles. He wore a uniform covered in medals and symbols of rank. Next to the Thrakari sat Hive Queen Zestara of the Zephyrians. She was bigger than the other Zephyrians, and her black shell looked like armor. Her 6 arms moved constantly as she talked to her followers. Her big eyes never blinked. The Luminary representative was called Bright Flame of Wisdom. It floated near the ceiling, changing colors slowly. Sometimes it looked like a star, sometimes like a cloud of glowing gas. The other aliens had to use special devices to understand what it was saying. The meeting began with the usual business: trade agreements between different worlds, disputes about mining rights on empty planets, arguments about who could build new colonies where. Jake listened to it all, but nobody asked for the human opinion on anything. Then General Vextar stood up. His voice was deep and rough. "I have an announcement," he said. "The Thrakari Empire is expanding our borders. We claim the star systems known as New Texas, Haven's Rest, and Port Liberty." Jake felt his heart stop. Those were human colonies. Thousands of humans lived on those worlds. They had been there for 20 years. Jake stood up quickly. "General Vextar, those are human worlds. Our people live there. We have cities and farms and families." Vextar looked at Jake like he was looking at a small bug. "Your people can leave," he said. "We need those planets for our own expansion. They have good minerals that we can use. You can't just take our worlds, Jake said. His voice was getting louder. Those people have homes there. They have nowhere else to go. Vextar laughed. It was a horrible sound, like rocks grinding together. What will you do to stop us? You humans took thousands of years just to reach your own moon. You have no real military. Your ships are slow and weak. Your weapons are like toys compared to ours. Other aliens around the table started making sounds. The Zephyrians were clicking rapidly. Jake knew they were laughing. Some of the Thrakari soldiers were also making amused growling sounds. Hive Queen Zestara spoke up. Her voice sounded like many voices talking at once. The small, soft things think they can fight the great scaled warriors? This is very funny. The small, soft things should accept their place and be grateful they are allowed to exist. Even Bright Flame of Wisdom seemed amused. Its colors shifted to what Jake had learned meant laughter among the Luminary. Jake looked around the room. Nobody was going to help humans. The other alien races just watched like this was entertainment. Some seemed bored. Others looked interested to see what would happen. I request a formal hearing, Jake said. Under galactic law, any species has the right to defend their territorial claims. General Vextar waved one of his big clawed hands. Fine, we will give you a hearing. The council will meet again in 6 months to discuss this matter. 6 months. Jake knew what that meant. In 6 months, the Thrakari would already control those human worlds. They would have moved their own people there. They would say it was too late to change anything. That's not enough time, Jake said. Your forces could invade those worlds before then. That is not our problem, Vextar replied. Perhaps your people should have thought about defense before they built those colonies. The meeting moved on to other business. Jake sat back down, but he could not focus on anything else. He kept thinking about the families on those 3 worlds. They had no idea what was coming. They trusted Earth to protect them. Dr. Warren leaned down and whispered in his ear, I've been monitoring their communications. This isn't just about those 3 worlds. I think they're planning something much bigger. Jake looked at her with alarm. What do you mean? I think they want to take over all human territory, she said quietly. These 3 worlds are just the beginning. Captain Ryan heard this too. His face went pale. We need to warn Earth immediately, he said. Jake nodded. As soon as this meeting was over, they would send an emergency message home. But he wondered if it would matter. What could Earth do against the Thrakari Empire? The aliens were right about one thing. Human military technology was far behind theirs. Human ships were slower. Human weapons were weaker. For 30 years, humans had been trying to catch up to alien technology. But the other races had thousands of years head start. How could humans hope to compete with that? As the meeting continued, Jake watched General Vextar talking with his officers. They looked confident and relaxed. To them, humans were just a minor inconvenience, something to be brushed aside when it became annoying. Jake had spent his whole career trying to earn respect for humanity among the stars. Now he realized it might all be for nothing. The galaxy was a dangerous place, and the strong took what they wanted from the weak. But something deep inside Jake refused to give up. Humans had surprised people before. They had overcome impossible odds. Maybe somehow they could do it again. The meeting finally ended. As the aliens filed out, many of them glanced at the humans with amusement or pity. Jake heard one Thrakari officer say to another, "It will be good to finally put the soft things in their proper place." Jake, Lisa, and Ryan walked back to their ship in silence. They had a lot of work to do and not much time to do it. 6 months passed like a bad dream. The Thrakari kept their word about one thing. They waited until after the Galactic Council meeting to attack. But when they came with overwhelming force. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood on the bridge of her ship, the Defiance. Through the big windows, she could see the enemy fleet approaching New Texas. The Thrakari ships were massive and dark. They looked like giant metal beasts flying through space. Each one was 3 times bigger than the largest human ship. "How many ships are we looking at?" Kate asked her tactical officer. Colonel Ben Turner checked his screens. "At least 60 Thrakari vessels, Admiral. Maybe more behind them. Our scouts counted 30 human ships defending the system. Kate felt her stomach tighten. 60 against 30 was bad enough, but she knew the real problem was not just numbers. Thrakari's ships were much more advanced than human ships. Their weapons could punch through human armor like it was paper. Their shields could stop most human attacks completely. "Any word from the other colonies?" Kate asked. Ben's face was grim. "Haven's Rest fell yesterday. Port Liberty lasted 2 days longer than expected, but they're gone too. The civilians who could escape are heading toward Earth." Kate closed her eyes for a moment. Thousands of people had lived on those worlds, families who had built homes and farms, children who had been born there and never seen Earth. Now they were all refugees, if they were lucky enough to escape at all. The communications officer spoke up. "Admiral, we're getting a message from the Thrakari fleet." "Put it on screen," Kate said. General Vextar appeared on the main display. He looked even more frightening than Kate remembered from the diplomatic meetings. His dark scales seemed to absorb light. His yellow eyes glowed with satisfaction. "Human Admiral," Vextar said in his rough voice. "I am General Vextar of the Thrakari Empire. You will surrender this system immediately. Your resistance is pointless. We have already taken 2 of your colonies. This one will fall just as easily." Kate stepped forward. "This is Admiral Sullivan of the Human Defense Fleet. These are our people and our worlds. We will not surrender them to you." Vextar laughed, that horrible grinding sound. "Your bravery is admirable, but stupid. Look at my fleet. Look at your pathetic ships. You cannot win this fight. Surrender now, and we will allow your civilians to leave safely." "And if we don't surrender?" Kate asked. "Then we will destroy your ships and take the planet anyway. Your people will become slaves in the Thrakari Empire. The choice is yours." The transmission ended. Kate looked around at her crew. She could see fear in their faces, but also determination. These were good people who had sworn to protect human colonies. They would not run away, even against impossible odds. "Admiral," Ben said quietly, "our weapons barely scratch their shields. Their energy blasts go right through our armor. If we fight them here, we'll lose every ship." Kate knew he was right. For 30 years, humans had been trying to improve their technology, but they were still far behind the alien races. Human ships used chemical rockets and nuclear power. The aliens had mastered energy manipulation and gravity control. It was like fighting with sticks against laser guns. "Maybe we can't win," Kate said, "but we can make them pay for every inch. Send word to all ships. Prepare for battle formation." The human fleet moved into position around New Texas. The planet below had 3 million people living on it. Most were hiding in underground shelters, hoping the fighting would pass over them. Some were trying to escape on cargo ships and civilian transports. The Thrakari fleet approached slowly. They were not in any hurry. General Vextar knew he had already won. This was just a formality. "Admiral," the communications officer said, "we're getting an emergency transmission from Earth." "Put it through," Kate ordered. President Amy Foster appeared on a smaller screen. She looked tired and worried. "Admiral Sullivan, I know your situation looks hopeless. The Joint Chiefs are meeting now to discuss our options." "What options?" Kate asked. "We're outgunned and outnumbered. Their technology is centuries ahead of ours." "I can't give you details over an open channel," the president said. "But there might be something. Someone is coming to speak with you. His name is Director Stone. Listen to what he has to say." Before Kate could ask more questions, the transmission ended. She looked at Ben with confusion. "Director Stone? I've never heard of anyone by that name." Ben shook his head. "Neither have I, and I know most of the high-ranking military personnel." The Thrakari fleet was getting closer. Kate could see individual ships now, massive things covered in weapons and armor. Their shields glowed with a blue energy that deflected everything humans had tried against them. "Admiral, incoming message," the communications officer announced. This time, it was not from the enemy. A new face appeared on the screen, an older man with gray hair and serious eyes. He wore no uniform that Kate recognized. "Admiral Sullivan, this is Director Stone. I'm sending you coordinates to a facility on Earth. Bring your best officers immediately. Leave the fleet under Colonel Turner's command. I can't abandon my ships when we're about to be attacked, Kate protested. Admiral, what I'm about to show you might change everything, but you need to see it in person. Trust me. Something in the man's voice made Kate believe him. How do I know this isn't some kind of trick? Because right now you have no other options, Director Stone said. Your conventional weapons cannot defeat the Thrakari, but humanity has other weapons, weapons that have been kept secret for a very long time. Kate felt a spark of hope, but she tried not to let it show. What kind of weapons? The kind that work, Director Stone replied. Come to Earth immediately. Bring your tactical officer. Leave your ship in position, but do not engage the enemy until you return. The transmission ended. Kate stared at the empty screen. Around her, the bridge crew waited for orders. Ben, she said finally. You heard the man. Get ready to leave for Earth. Admiral, I can't leave my post during a battle, Ben protested. There's not going to be a battle, Kate said. Not yet, anyway. We're going to retreat to a safe distance and wait. The civilians on the planet will think we're abandoning them, Ben said. Better they think that than watch us all die uselessly, Kate replied. Give the order to withdraw. All ships pull back to the edge of the system. Ben looked unhappy but followed orders. The human fleet began moving away from New Texas. Behind them, the Thrakari ships continued their advance toward the planet. General Vextar's voice came over the radio again. Running away, Admiral? How disappointing. I expected humans to at least try to fight. Kate did not respond. She was already heading to the shuttle bay with Ben. Whatever Director Stone wanted to show her, it had better be good. Right now, it was the only hope humanity had. As their shuttle flew toward Earth, Kate watched New Texas disappear behind them. The planet looked peaceful from space, like a blue and green jewel, but she knew that Thrakari forces were already landing on the surface. Soon, another human world would be under alien control. The journey to Earth took 2 days. During that time, reports came in from across human space. The Thrakari were not stopping with 3 colonies. Their fleets were moving toward the inner systems. They were heading for the more important human worlds, the ones with major cities and industrial centers. Admiral, Ben said as they approached Earth, look at these coordinates Director Stone gave us. Kate looked at the navigation display. The coordinates pointed to an area in the Rocky Mountains on the North American continent. It was a restricted military zone that Kate had never heard of. Cheyenne Mountain, Ben said. I thought that was just an old missile base from centuries ago. Apparently not, Kate replied. Their shuttle landed at a small airfield near the mountain. A military vehicle was waiting for them. The driver was a young soldier who did not say much. He just drove them up a winding road toward what looked like a solid rock wall. As they got closer, Kate saw that there was actually a hidden entrance built into the mountain. Massive metal doors opened as their vehicle approached. Inside was a tunnel that went deep into the rock. They drove for what felt like miles through the tunnel. Finally, they reached another set of doors. These were even bigger than the first ones. A sign next to them read, Black Site Omega, authorized personnel only. Director Stone was waiting for them. Up close, he looked older than he had on the video transmission. His face was lined with years of stress and worry, but his eyes were sharp and intelligent. Admiral Sullivan, Colonel Turner, he said, welcome to humanity's best-kept secret. The doors opened with a deep, rumbling sound. Beyond them was something that Kate had never imagined possible. It was a military facility that stretched as far as she could see. Weapons that looked like they came from alien technology. Ships that seemed to bend light around them. Soldiers working with equipment that Kate did not recognize. What is this place? She asked. Director Stone smiled for the first time. This is where we've been preparing for this day for over 100 years. The day when humanity would have to show the galaxy what we're really capable of. Admiral Kate Sullivan followed Director Stone deeper into the mountain facility. The corridors were wide and clean, with bright lights everywhere. Soldiers moved quickly past them, carrying equipment she had never seen before, Everything looked more advanced than anything she knew about human technology. "How long has this place existed?" Kate asked as they walked. "Construction began in 2157, Director Stone replied. "About 15 years after first contact with the aliens, some very smart people realized that humanity needed to prepare for the possibility of conflict." Colonel Ben Turner was looking around with amazement. "But why keep it secret from the rest of the military? We could have been using this technology to defend the colonies." Director Stone stopped walking and turned to face them. "Because the moment we revealed our true capabilities, every alien race in the galaxy would have seen us as a threat. We needed time to develop our technology in peace. We needed them to underestimate us." They reached a large elevator that took them even deeper into the mountain. When the doors opened, Kate saw the most incredible sight of her life. The cavern they entered was enormous, big enough to hold several city blocks. Inside were ships unlike anything in the official human fleet. "Welcome to Hangar 7, Director Stone said, one of 12 similar facilities around Earth. The ships were sleek and black, with smooth curves that seemed to bend light around them. They had no visible engines or weapons, but Kate could feel power radiating from them. Near the ships, technicians worked on equipment that looked more advanced than alien technology. A woman in a lab coat approached them. She was young, maybe 30 years old, with short black hair and intelligent eyes. "Admiral Sullivan, I'm Dr. Rachel Kim, Chief Scientist for Project Mirror." "Project Mirror?" Ben asked. "We've been studying alien technology for 30 years, Dr. Kim explained. Every time humans met with other species, we gathered information. Every trade agreement included technology exchanges. Every diplomatic visit was also an intelligence operation." She led them to a workstation covered with holographic displays. Kate could see detailed blueprints of Thrakari ships, Zephyrian technology, and Luminary energy systems. "We discovered something interesting," Dr. Kim continued. "The alien races stopped innovating thousands of years ago. They found technology that worked and then stopped improving it. But humans kept advancing." Director Stone picked up the explanation. "While they thought we were struggling to catch up, we were actually surpassing them. We took their ideas and made them better." Kate stared at the blueprints. "You're saying our technology is more advanced than theirs?" "In many ways, yes," Dr. Kim said. "For example, Thrakari shields work by deflecting energy attacks. But we developed quantum phase torpedoes that can pass through any known shielding. They hit the target as if the shields aren't even there." Ben pointed to another display showing tiny robots. "What are those?" "Nanite swarms," Dr. Kim said with a smile. "Microscopic machines that can dismantle enemy ships at the molecular level. The aliens never developed anything like this because they thought it was too dangerous." Kate felt her heart racing. "If we have all this technology, why did we let the Thrakari take 3 colonies?" "Because we needed to maintain the illusion of weakness," Director Stone said. "If we had defeated their first attack easily, they would have known we were hiding something. This way, they think they're winning. They'll commit more forces to finish us off." He led them to another section of the hangar where different ships were being prepared. These vessels looked even stranger than the others. They seemed to flicker in and out of existence. "Shadow-class stealth ships," Dr. Kim explained. "They exist in a state of quantum uncertainty. Enemy sensors cannot detect them because they're not entirely in this dimension." A technician ran up to Dr. Kim. "Doctor, the AI systems are ready for demonstration." Kate followed them to a large computer terminal. The screen showed a 3-dimensional map of space around Earth. Red dots represented Thrakari ships. Blue dots were human vessels. "This is our tactical AI," Dr. Kim said. "It can predict enemy movements and coordinate our forces with perfect timing. It thinks faster than any organic mind." A synthetic voice spoke from the computer. "Admiral Sullivan, I have analyzed Thrakari battle patterns from the last 3 engagements. Their tactical doctrine has not changed in over 2,000 years. I can predict their moves with 97% accuracy." Ben stared at the screen. "An artificial intelligence that can outthink alien commanders?" "It gets better," Dr. Kim said. Watch this. The display changed to show a simulation of the current battle around New Texas. The AI ran through dozens of attack scenarios in seconds, showing exactly how human forces could win against the Thrakari fleet. But this is just the beginning, Director Stone said. Show them the real weapons. Dr. Kim led them to a secured area deeper in the facility. They passed through several security checkpoints before reaching a laboratory filled with devices that looked like they came from science fiction movies. Temporal displacement cannons, Dr. Kim said, pointing to a sleek weapon. They slow down time around the target. Enemy ships become sitting ducks while we move at normal speed. She showed them other weapons, gravity bombs that could crush entire fleets, energy converters that turned enemy fire into power for human ships, and molecular disruptors that could make solid matter simply disappear. The aliens never developed weapons like this, Dr. Kim explained, because they considered them too dangerous or impossible, but humans have always been willing to push boundaries. Kate picked up a small device that looked like a metal sphere. What does this do? Reality anchor, Dr. Kim said. It prevents enemy ships from using faster-than-light travel or dimensional shifting. Once we deploy these, the Thrakari fleet can't escape. Director Stone checked his watch. Admiral, we need to make a decision. Right now, General Vextar thinks he's won an easy victory. He's calling for reinforcements to help occupy human space permanently. If we act now, we can catch their entire fleet while they're overconfident. Kate looked around at all the incredible technology. How many people know about this? About 3,000, Director Stone replied. Scientists, engineers, and a few military personnel. Everyone has been working in secret for decades. Why reveal it now? Ben asked. Because the aliens have forced our hand, Director Stone said. If we don't act, they'll enslave or destroy humanity. If we do act, we'll have to live with the consequences of showing our true strength. Dr. Kim pulled up another display. Admiral, this shows what we can do with just the forces we have ready now. We don't need to mobilize our entire hidden fleet. A small task force using our advanced technology can defeat the entire Thrakari invasion force. Kate studied the tactical projections. According to the simulations, a dozen human ships using the new technology could destroy 60 Thrakari vessels without losing a single ship. It seems too good to be true, Kate said. The aliens have been saying the same thing about human technology for 30 years, Director Stone replied. They assume we're primitive because we started late. They never considered that starting late might give us advantages. A communications technician approached them. Director Stone, we're receiving reports that more Thrakari fleets are moving toward the inner systems. They're bringing everything they have. Director Stone nodded. Perfect. Admiral Sullivan, are you ready to show the galaxy what humanity is really capable of? Kate looked at Ben. She could see the same mixture of excitement and fear in his eyes that she felt. This technology could save humanity, but it would also change everything. Once the aliens knew what humans could really do, there would be no going back to the old relationships. What about the Galactic Council? Kate asked. What happens after we defeat the Thrakari? That depends on how the other alien races react, Director Stone said. They might respect us as equals for the first time, or they might decide we're too dangerous to exist. Dr. Kim spoke up. Admiral, we've been preparing for both possibilities. Our technology can defend against any known alien weapons, but the choice of how to use it is up to you. Kate thought about the families on New Texas, probably hiding in shelters while Thrakari soldiers occupied their cities. She thought about the refugees fleeing from the other conquered colonies. She thought about what would happen to humanity if they lost this war. How long to prepare a strike force? Kate asked. 6 hours, Director Stone replied. We have ships ready and crews trained. All we need is your authorization to begin the counterattack. Kate took a deep breath. Then let's show them what humans can really do. Dr. Kim smiled. Admiral, you're about to change the course of galactic history. As they walked back toward the command center, Kate felt a mixture of excitement and responsibility. Humanity had been hiding its true strength for 30 years, pretending to be weak while secretly becoming more powerful than any alien race. Now it was time to reveal the truth. The galaxy was about to discover that they had seriously underestimated the human species. Captain Steve Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the human ship Courage as it approached the Centauri system. Around him, 11 other human vessels moved in perfect formation. These were not the same ships that had retreated from New Texas days earlier. These were the secret weapons that humanity had been building for 30 years. Steve looked at his crew. Lieutenant Commander Nicole Reeves was at the weapons station, her fingers dancing over controls that would have been impossible to understand a week ago. Behind her, the tactical AI hummed quietly, calculating thousands of battle scenarios every second. "Captain," Nicole said, "sensors show 63 Thrakari ships in the system. They're spread out around the planet, probably thinking they're safe." Steve nodded. "Any sign they've detected us?" "No, sir," the sensor officer replied. "Our quantum stealth systems are working perfectly. To their instruments, we don't exist." Through the main window, Steve could see the Thrakari fleet in the distance. The enemy ships looked huge and intimidating, just as they always had. But now, Steve knew something the aliens didn't. Size and appearance meant nothing when your enemy had technology you couldn't understand. "Communications," Steve ordered. "Open a channel to Admiral Sullivan." Admiral Kate Sullivan's face appeared on the screen. She was aboard the flagship Retribution, leading the strike force from the center of the formation. Her eyes were calm but determined. "All ships report ready, Captain Rodriguez," she said. "Remember, we need to make this look like a desperate last stand at first. Let them think they're winning until we spring the trap." Steve understood. The plan was to make the Thrakari overconfident, then reveal humanity's true capabilities all at once. The psychological impact would be just as important as the military victory. "Admiral," Nicole said from her station, "the nanite swarms are loaded and ready. All quantum torpedoes are armed." "Excellent," Admiral Sullivan replied. "Begin Phase 1. The human ships suddenly became visible to Thrakari sensors. Steve watched as alarm signals spread through the enemy fleet. The aliens had been relaxing, thinking the battle was already won. Now they scrambled to respond to this unexpected human attack. General Vextar's voice came over the radio, full of anger and surprise. "Impossible! How did human ships get past our perimeter? All vessels, destroy these pathetic remnants immediately!" The Thrakari fleet turned toward the human ships with practiced efficiency. Their massive vessels moved like a school of metal fish, weapons charging and shields glowing bright blue. Steve had to admit they looked terrifying. "Here they come," Nicole said. 63 ships against our 12. They probably think this will be over in minutes." Steve smiled grimly. "They're right. It will be over in minutes. Just not the way they expect." The first Thrakari energy blasts reached the human fleet. Steve watched the brilliant beams of plasma heading straight for his ship. For a moment, his old instincts made him want to dodge or retreat. Then he remembered what the secret technology could do. The plasma beams hit the human ships and simply disappeared. The new energy absorption shields didn't just stop the attacks. They converted the enemy fire into additional power for human weapons. "Shields holding at 112%, the defensive officer reported. "Their attacks are actually making us stronger." On the Thrakari ships, Steve could imagine the confusion and panic. Their most powerful weapons had just bounced harmlessly off human vessels that should have been destroyed instantly. "Phase 2, Admiral Sullivan announced over the radio. Now it was humanity's turn to attack. Steve watched as quantum torpedoes launched from the human ships. Unlike normal missiles, these weapons seemed to flicker in and out of existence as they flew toward their targets. The Thrakari tried to stop the torpedoes with their defensive fire, but the quantum weapons passed through their energy blasts like they were made of light. The enemy shields, which had always been impenetrable to human weapons, offered no protection at all. The first torpedo hit a Thrakari cruiser, and the entire ship simply vanished, not destroyed or blown apart. It just ceased to exist, as if it had never been there at all. "What was that?" one of Steve's officers asked in amazement. "Molecular disruption," Nicole explained. The torpedo breaks the bonds that hold matter together. The ship just comes apart at the atomic level. More torpedoes found their targets. Each hit completely erased a Thrakari vessel from existence. Steve could hear the panic in the alien communications as they tried to understand what was happening. "This is impossible," General Vextar roared over the radio. "No weapon can penetrate our shields. This must be some kind of trick." "Phase 3, Admiral Sullivan commanded. Now the nanite swarms were released. From each human ship, clouds of microscopic robots spread out toward the remaining Thrakari vessels. The swarms were invisible to alien sensors, too small to detect, but programmed with one simple mission: dismantle everything they touched. Steve watched through his ship's cameras as the nanites reached the first Thrakari ship. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly, sections of the enemy vessel began to dissolve, hull plating fell apart, weapon systems stopped working, and internal systems failed one by one. "The nanites are working from the inside out," Nicole reported. "They're taking apart the ship's structure piece by piece." The sight was both fascinating and terrifying. The mighty Thrakari warships, which had seemed invincible just minutes before, were literally falling apart in space. Their crews frantically tried to stop the process, but there was nothing they could do against an enemy they couldn't see or understand. General Vextar's flagship, the Crushing Talon, was one of the ships being consumed by nanites. Steve could hear the Thrakari general screaming orders over the radio, but his voice was getting weaker as his ship's communication systems failed. "All vessels retreat," Vextar finally commanded. "This is not possible. These are not the weapons of a primitive species." But the Thrakari fleet discovered another unpleasant surprise. The reality anchors that the human ships had deployed were now active. Enemy vessels that tried to jump to faster than light speed found that their engines simply would not work. "We're trapped," one Thrakari captain reported. "Something is preventing our jump drives from engaging." "Phase 4, Admiral Sullivan announced. The human ships seemed to flicker and then disappeared from Thrakari sensors again. But this time, they reappeared right in the middle of the enemy formation. The Shadow-class vessels had used their quantum displacement systems to teleport into perfect attack positions. From point-blank range, the human ships opened fire with their temporal displacement weapons. Time itself seemed to slow down around the targeted Thrakari vessels. Steve watched as enemy ships became frozen in space, while human weapons fired again and again into their hulls. "It's like shooting fish in a barrel," Nicole said with dark satisfaction. "They can't move, can't shoot back, can't do anything but sit there and take it." The battle, if it could even be called that, was over in less than 20 minutes. 63 Thrakari ships had been reduced to floating debris and lifeless hulks. Not a single human vessel had taken any damage. General Vextar's voice came over the radio one last time. His ship was dying around him, systems failing as the nanites finished their work. "This is impossible," he whispered. "You were supposed to be weak. You were supposed to be primitive. How do you have such weapons?" Admiral Sullivan answered him personally. "We've been watching you for 30 years, General, learning from you, improving on your technology. While you grew overconfident, we grew stronger." "But your ships were so slow," Vextar protested weakly. "Your weapons were so weak." "The ships and weapons you saw were the ones we wanted you to see," Sullivan replied. "We've been preparing for this day since we first met your people. We hoped it would never come, but you forced our hand." The transmission from Vextar's ship cut out as the last of his communication systems failed. Steve could see the massive Thrakari flagship breaking apart in space, its crew probably dead or dying. "All ships report in," Admiral Sullivan commanded. One by one, the human captains confirmed their status. 12 ships, 0 casualties, complete victory against an enemy that had seemed impossible to defeat. "Captain Rodriguez," Admiral Sullivan said, "prepare a message to be broadcast on all frequencies. It's time to let the galaxy know that humanity is no longer hiding." Steve nodded. The secret was out now. Every alien race would soon learn that humans had technology far more advanced than anything they had imagined. The balance of power in the galaxy had just shifted dramatically. But as Steve looked at the wreckage of the Thrakari fleet floating in space, he wondered what the consequences would be. Humanity had just proved they could destroy any alien force that threatened them. The question was, what would the aliens do with that knowledge? In the distance, he could see automated distress beacons from the destroyed Thrakari ships sending signals across space. Soon, every military force in the galaxy would know that the primitive humans had just annihilated an entire Thrakari battle fleet without losing a single ship. The galaxy was about to become a very different place. 3 weeks after the destruction of General Vextar's fleet, the largest armada in galactic history approached Earth's solar system. Admiral Kate Sullivan watched from the bridge of the Retribution as hundreds of enemy ships came out of faster-than-light travel near Jupiter. "My God," Colonel Ben Turner whispered. "How many ships is that?" The sensor officer checked his displays. "Over 900 vessels, Admiral. Thrakari, Zephyrian, and some species I don't recognize. It looks like they called in every favor they had." Kate nodded grimly. Word of humanity's secret weapons had spread quickly through the galaxy. The alien races that had once ignored or dismissed humans were now terrified of them. Instead of trying to understand or negotiate, they had decided to destroy humanity completely. "Communications, open a channel to Director Stone," Kate ordered. Director Stone appeared on the screen from his command center deep inside Cheyenne Mountain. Behind him, Kate could see dozens of technicians working frantically at their stations. "Admiral," Stone said, "our long-range sensors confirm what you're seeing. This is everything they have. If we defeat this fleet, there won't be another one." "And if we lose?" Kate asked. "Then humanity becomes extinct," Stone replied simply. "They're not here to conquer us anymore. They're here to eliminate what they see as a threat to their control of the galaxy." Kate looked at the massive enemy fleet on her display. 900 ships against the 30 vessels of her task force. Even with humanity's advanced technology, those were difficult odds. "Admiral," the communications officer said, "we're receiving a transmission from the enemy fleet." "Put it on screen," Kate ordered. The alien who appeared was not General Vextar. This was Hive Queen Zestara of the Zephyrians, her 6 arms moving in agitation as she spoke. "Human creatures," she said in her multi-layered voice, "you have committed crimes against the natural order of the galaxy. You have hidden your true nature and deceived the rightful rulers of space. For this deception, you will be completely destroyed." Kate stepped forward. "Queen Zestara, we never wanted conflict with any of your species. We defended ourselves when attacked, that's all." "Lies," another voice interrupted. A new alien appeared on the screen, one Kate had never seen before. It was tall and thin, with purple skin and glowing white eyes. "I am War Master Kethlon of the Void Hunters. My people have been watching the galaxy for 10,000 years. Never have we seen such dangerous weapons as yours." "Your technology violates every law of warfare," Queen Zestara added. "Weapons that destroy matter itself, machines that eat ships from within, time itself bent to your will. Such power should not exist." Kate felt anger rising in her chest. "You're afraid of us because we became stronger than you expected, because we refused to stay weak and primitive like you wanted." War Master Kethlon's eyes flared brighter. "You are children playing with forces you do not understand. You will destroy yourselves and take the galaxy with you. We cannot allow this." The transmission ended. Kate looked around at her crew. She could see the same determination in their faces that she felt. Humanity had come too far to surrender now. "All ships," Kate announced over the fleet communications. "Prepare for battle. Remember, this is not just about defeating an enemy fleet. This is about proving that humanity deserves its place among the stars." The enemy armada began moving toward Earth. Their ships formed a massive wall of metal and energy, weapons charging for what they intended to be the final battle against humanity. "Admiral," Ben said, "we're getting reports from the hidden facilities. Every secret base on Earth is fully operational. We have more ships available if needed. Kate shook her head. No, we end this with what we have here. Let them see exactly what 30 human ships can do against 900 alien vessels. The first enemy shots came from maximum range. Plasma beams and energy projectiles filled the space between the fleets. Kate watched the brilliant display of alien firepower heading toward her ships. All vessels, activate absorption shields, she commanded. The human ships seemed to glow as the enemy attacks struck them. Instead of causing damage, the alien weapons were converted into additional power for human systems. Kate could see the shock and confusion spreading through the enemy fleet as their most powerful attacks made the human ships stronger. Return fire, Kate ordered. Show them what real weapons look like. The human fleet unleashed everything at once. Quantum torpedoes that ignored all known defenses, nanite swarms that consumed everything they touched, temporal weapons that froze enemy ships in time, gravity bombs that crushed entire formations into tiny spheres of compressed matter. The effect on the alien fleet was devastating. Ships that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years simply vanished or fell apart in seconds. The mighty armada that had seemed so overwhelming moments before was being torn apart by weapons they could not understand or defend against. War Master Kethlon's voice came over the radio, full of panic. This is impossible. No species should have such power. We are the masters of this galaxy. Not anymore, Kate replied calmly. Captain Tony Garcia was leading a squadron of Shadow-class ships in a flanking attack. His vessels flickered in and out of dimensions, appearing inside enemy formations to deliver devastating attacks before disappearing again. The aliens had no way to track or target ships that existed in quantum uncertainty. Admiral, Tony reported over the radio. The enemy is trying to retreat. Should we let them go? Kate considered the question for a moment. If she let them escape, they might return with even more ships. But if she destroyed them all, it would send a clear message that humanity was not to be threatened. Activate the reality anchors, she decided. No one leaves this system. Across the human fleet, the devices that prevented faster-than-light travel came online. The enemy ships found themselves trapped, unable to escape the battle they had started. Hive Queen Zestara's ship was one of the largest in the enemy fleet. Kate watched as nanites swarmed over its hull, eating through armor that had been considered impenetrable. The Queen's voice came over the radio, no longer arrogant, but desperate. Please, she begged. We surrender. We will leave human space and never return. It's too late for that, Kate replied. You came here to destroy humanity completely. Now you'll learn what happens when you underestimate us. The battle continued for 2 hours, but the outcome was never in doubt. One by one, the enemy ships were destroyed or disabled. Some tried to ram the human vessels in desperation, but the advanced shields and armor made such attacks useless. Near the end, War Master Kethlon made one final transmission. His ship was breaking apart around him, consumed by human nanites. You don't understand what you're doing, he said. Power like this will corrupt you. You'll become worse than we ever were. Maybe, Kate replied. But that's our choice to make, not yours. The last enemy ship stopped functioning as its power core was dissolved by microscopic machines. In the space around Earth, the wreckage of 900 alien vessels drifted silently. Not a single human ship had been lost. Admiral, the communications officer said, we're receiving transmissions from across the galaxy. Every major species is requesting immediate diplomatic contact. Kate smiled. I bet they are. Put me through to Director Stone. Stone appeared on the screen, looking tired but satisfied. Well, Admiral, you've certainly gotten the galaxy's attention. The Luminary Collective has requested an emergency meeting. The Crystalline Republic is offering to share their most advanced technology. Even the Void Hunters are asking for peace negotiations. What's our response? Kate asked. We'll talk to them, Stone said, but from a position of strength. No more sitting at the small table in the corner. No more being ignored or dismissed. Humanity takes its place as an equal partner in galactic civilization. Kate looked out at the wreckage surrounding Earth. And if they don't accept us as equals? Then they'll learn the same lesson as the Thrakari and their allies, Stone replied. Humanity is no longer hiding what we're capable of. In the days that followed, representatives from every major alien species came to Earth. They arrived not as conquerors or superiors, but as nervous diplomats hoping to avoid humanity's wrath. The species that had once laughed at human weakness now begged for human friendship. The Galactic Council was restructured with humanity as one of the primary members. The old assumptions about who was strong and who was weak were thrown out. New treaties were signed that recognized human territory and rights. But Kate knew this was just the beginning. Other alien races were probably developing new weapons, trying to match human technology. Some would try to make alliances with humanity. Others would try to destroy them before they became even more powerful. The galaxy had been a dangerous place when humans were weak and ignored. Now it would be dangerous in a completely different way. Humanity had revealed their true strength, and there was no going back. As Kate stood on the observation deck of the Retribution, looking out at the stars, she wondered what challenges would come next. Humanity had proven they could defend themselves against any threat. The question now was what they would do with their newfound power. The universe was full of possibilities, and for the first time in galactic history, humanity would have a say in which ones became reality. Director Stone joined her at the window. Any regrets about revealing our secrets? Kate thought about it for a moment. No, we couldn't hide forever. Eventually, someone would have forced us to show our true capabilities. At least this way, we got to choose when and how. The galaxy will never be the same, Stone observed. Kate nodded. Good. It was time for a change. Outside the window, human ships patrolled the solar system with confidence. They no longer had to hide their advanced technology or pretend to be weak. Humanity had taken its place among the stars as an equal, and they would make sure it stayed that way.